Welcome to the Mother-Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. This is Dawn.
And Angie.
And this month for December, we're going to be talking about what every woman should know. It's happy December 18th. We have a great show for you today as well. We are loving these little short snippets of tips to end out the year of December 2021 as we walk into 2022. I'm excited about that. And our show series is What Every Woman Should Know. And again, our podcast is Mother-Daughter-ish, so we're catering to mothers and daughters, which are women. And so today our show is about how to respect elders. And Angie, what would you say is your number one way that you show respect to elders?
Mine would be doing acts of service, doing things that they might need done around the house that they might have put on or, put off, like house projects, or just doing anything around the house, laundry.
That's really important because a lot of things elders can't do anymore. Like they may not be able to reach up to things in their cabinet, so they may have you to lower it down to them. They're not able to maybe do. I don't know why does that. They might not be able to bring in their groceries. It's too heavy. Even if Amazon delivers it, somebody still got to bring it into the door. They may not be able to clean up, like they used to be able to. So it's good to help. So acts of service is really important, and that's for anybody, but especially elders, right?
Yeah, especially when we did those, not Halloween. When we used to do those Thanksgiving meal things where we drop them off at people's homes and see how much that made their day, stuff like that.
Yeah. And it'd be so funny because when y'all were kids, I always signed up the whole family. I didn't even ask y'all if y'all wanted to do it because to me, you didn't have a choice. Because what I was trying to teach you was acts of service and how to respect elders. Because since I was a kid, I've respected elders. My godmother was really like my best friend when I was a kid. And when I say a kid, I'm talking about from elementary school until I was, 17 when she died. And so she was really like a good friend, but she taught me so many things about respect and so many things about manners and so many things just about, we used to just talk for like 5 hours just about stuff. Now, if you were to ask me right now what we used to talk about, I can't tell you because I don't remember. I remember some actions, like I know I used to have to read her pacemaker for her every day back in the day. What kid was sitting up reading somebody's pacemaker? And because back then you used to have to take we had landlines. You would have to take the rotary phone handle, put it up against the pacemaker that was on their heart, and then the machine would have to read it through the phone, and I would do that for her every single day. I know that she used to make the best tea cakes on the block, baby, and so she used to make tea cakes and stuff. I know we used to work in the garden together. See, all those things that we did together was really, really teaching me, respect, and it was, building character, so that I love. But the way that I show respect to elders is that, I don't know if you know this, but when you were coming up, I was an ombudsman. An ombudsman is registered through their state that they're serving in, and they go into nursing facilities, and they really get a chance to just kind of talk to the senior citizens that have been brought to the nursing home and their family never came back to see them again. But also it gives you a chance for them to tell you how the people are treating them at the center. It would give them a chance to tell you if they're eating properly, if anybody's abusing them, because believe it or not, there's a lot of abuse that goes on in facilities, a lot of things that happen just wouldn't even believe, a lot of sexual assault that goes on in nursing facilities. And so, a lot of people say, well, they're old, they don't know what they're talking about. Sometimes you need to listen what people are talking about because they know exactly what they're talking about. So if you're setting up a camera or something in there to try to catch people doing things they shouldn't, just like you would in your child's bedroom. So, ombudsmen are basically advocates for elders, and it's not a job you get paid for, by the way. You have to go through the registering and getting the certification. You have to do so many hours to be able to continue to be an ombudsman. So it's not a job that you're being paid for. It was my volunteerism that I did. I also got certified to be a hospice advocate, and volunteer in hospice. In hospice, what you do is when people that are end of life stages, you'd be there for the families to comfort them. Or if the families couldn't be there and they didn't want to leave their loved one alone, you go and sit in that room with that person that's literally dying. I went through that class and some people didn't make it through. They just were like, you know what, I thought I could do this, I can't do it. Or if somebody's in hospice in their home, you would go and sit with them. You basically are there to advocate, to be an advocate, to make sure that person is getting the proper hospice care, but then also to be there to comfort the family. I think another way to respect elders is meal preparation. I used to, you already know this, we used to go out and speak in elder care centers and stuff, and at adult daycare centers, and Meals on Wheels would prepare meals and take them to seniors. A lot of those Meals on Wheels people weren't being paid. They were volunteers. Now there are a lot of them that are paid because it's a contract that you get through your local whoever's hosting that program, but meal prep for seniors. And I was so happy, and not because I love the whole synopsis of it, but a lot of elders that they would give food to, they would take extra food for their pet, because they learned that a lot of the elders would give their food to the dog and then they wouldn't eat at all. So then Meals on Wheels program, Meals on Wheels incorporated, where if they do have a dog, just give them an extra plate, because we already know they're going to treat that dog like that's their kid, and they're going to feed their child first, just like any mother would. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think anything to do with making their lives easier in some type of way.
Yeah. And a lot of them couldn't cook for themselves and didn't have family members that came and checked on regularly. That's why you hear on the news, such and such died in her house all alone, because ain't nobody checked on her in 4 days. So, so meal prep and delivery is a great way. But then also calling to just check on people. I have friends right now that are in their 80s. I don't have any friends that are in their 90s right now, but I have friends that are in their 70s and 80s. And they call and check on me. And in return, I call and check on them. And that was something that I used to love with my, we used to call it Ain't Sweet Thing. That was something that I really loved. And me and her had a real conversation one day where I got an opportunity to really show her what I thought about something. And she had called me one day and she said, this is when your grandpa was living with us when he got sick. And she called me, she said, I haven't heard from you in over a week. You are that busy that you can't. She went on and gave me a piece of her mind. And I said, did you ever stop to think that you have a landline and I have a landline and our phone numbers go back and forth? You could call me and I can also call you. So that means that if you thought about me enough to wonder why I didn't call you, why didn't you think enough of me to call to see how I was doing? Exactly. That after we had that conversation, I never had to tell her that again. She called me, and then what I would do, bounce back and I'll call her. And so every other day we was talking, because she understood exactly what I was saying. It's like, sometimes the people who care for everybody else and they do everything for everybody else, and they got their own life, they got to do stuff for, they got their own kids they got to raise, they got their own bills they got to pay. You know what? Sometimes we want to be checked on too. We don't have to be sick. We can just need somebody to check on us every now and then. I never had to have that conversation with her again, because she understood exactly what I was saying. She said, you know what, you're right. I thought about why you hadn't called me all week, but not one time did I think I should call you. You over there taking care of your dad. You're raising 4 children. You're running a business. You're making sure this is happening. You're participating. And she's like, I never thought about all the stuff that you got going on. And she didn't have to say she was sorry or nothing. That wasn't the point. Yeah. The point was, wait a minute. She right. I didn't check on her, and I thought about her every day. Why she ain't check on me? And I just thought it was, a good way to have a conversation. But I do think that when you want to show respect to elders and, showing it, like you said, in acts of service is really a good thing. I mean, I know people that have elderly neighbors, they get the newspaper thrown back in the day when they used to anyway. If they don't pick it up out of the yard, they take it to the door and give it to them. Remember the lady that we had that lived next door to us that was like in her 80s or whatever?
Yeah.
Next door to us, the lady, and I remember one time she.
Oh yeah, before Tiffany and them over.
Yeah, so she was out in the yard one day, and I was asking her, "You need some help with anything?" She said, "Well, I really need some help in the house. I can't get to something." And I was like, "Okay, let me put my purse in the car because I was gonna go somewhere, but let me help you." And when I went in the house, all she wanted was to move the plates from the third row in her cabinet down to the first row because her daughter and her son-in-law were getting ready to come over, and she wanted to have the table already prepared. And they wasn't coming for 2 or 3 days, but she was trying to get the thing all the way prepared. So I said, well, instead of me putting this stuff that you're going to use, let me put the stuff that you're going to actually prepare down on the counter so you don't have to reach nowhere. She was like, thank you so much. Did she go over to her purse to try to give me some money? I said, no, ma'am. I said, all I did was move that. I said, look, if you need any other help. So I took my phone number, and she had a marker on her, blue marker on her table. I wrote my phone number in real big letters, and I put it up on her refrigerator with one of her little sticky things. I put it up on her refrigerator. I said, if you need help reaching something, or you need help with something or whatever, and because her daughter and her son-in-law lived out in I think they was out in Grimes County or Waller County, way an hour and a half away. I said, if you need something, just call me. I am at home every single day working. You can call me and I can come help you or whatever. If you just need somebody to reach something for you, do something for you. It was just one thing I learned, that her house was a safety hazard, because I think she had in her house every newspaper she had ever gotten since 1972. It was stacked up all over there. And I told her, I said, if you ever need me to come over to help you to get rid of these papers, there's at my kid's school, there's a dumpster where they collect paper, and they actually make money off of it for the PTA, because I'm on the PTA, and we could use these papers, and they raise money. I told her last year they raised $47,000 on paper goods. That's what the dumpster's there for. If you ever want me to come and get, she said, oh no, I save all my papers. I said, is there a reason why? She said, I just do. I said, okay. And I ain't say nothing else because, I ain't want to infringe on her rights, and she think that I'm trying to make her do something. I just didn't understand that how she only had a trail to walk, because she had every newspaper in her house, I believe, since before I was born. I mean, they were stacked up everywhere, all on the sofa, all around, all up against the wall, stacked up to probably about 4 feet tall. Newspapers.
Sheesh.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Monk had a brother from the show Monk. Monk had a brother.
Oh, I didn't get to that part yet.
Was afraid to leave the house.
And yeah.
And there was a name for people who are afraid to leave the house. But so every piece of mail that he ever got and every newspaper he ever got, he would file it away in alphabetical order. So he also had every newspaper in his house. He had every letter that he had ever received. He even saved people's mail where it said, like, to the resident or to the neighbor that moved away. He kept everybody's mail. His daddy, they hadn't seen their daddy since they was kids. And he said, well, we eventually gonna see daddy. He gonna come back and get us or whatever. Okay. You are 50 years old. Your daddy's probably not coming back. Why are you saving his mail? So it's just crazy though. But those are just ways that you can absolutely show your respect to elders. I'm really big on respect. I think that anybody who's in my space, MySpace, interesting. That's old. Anybody who's in my personal space knows that I'm all about words that you're using to me, and I'm all about respect. And I just feel like, if you want respect, you have to give respect. But I feel like when you show respect to elders, that's a special kind of blessing there. And
yeah, so, I agree.
You get to choose too how you want to show that respect. You don't have to do everything we said. You can have your own way. You could, pick up the phone and just call and say, hey, I'm just calling to check on you. And that's good enough, because guess what? Nobody might not have called them for 4 days. If you see an elder that's trying to cross the street but having some difficult time, it don't cost you nothing to just kind of help them get across the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep them from getting hit by a car. How sometimes them signs change real fast and they might not be able to do it. It takes you nothing when you see an elderly person in the store trying to reach for something. If you say, can I help you with that? I'll tell you something funny. The sweetest thing happened the other day at Costco. Me and Peyton were getting some water, and she got this one that had like 50 something bottles in it. And she had moved it, and then she said, oh man, I hurt my nail. So this little cute guy passed by, and he said, hold up, let me get that for you. And she said, okay, sure. Usually Peyton is so independent. She's like, no, I got it. But I gave her this look. If a man wants to help you, let him show his shoe. Don't block this young man. And he was so cute. And he picked up the water thing. He put it in under the, in the bottom part of the basket. And then he turned around at her and he said, thank you for letting me help you. And she was just like, wow. I say, see, that's what I'm saying. When somebody want to help you, want to hold a door open for you, want to open a door for you, especially if it's the opposite sex, let them, because see, it might have made him feel real good to help a woman. So
yeah, especially doing a good deed for the day.
Look, I was so impressed. I was like, yeah, he could be my son-in-law, and I don't even know this man's name. But
That's like
he had this whole little skateboarder thing going on with his long hair, and him and his homeboy was together shopping. And I'm telling you, all she did was turn the water around, and she said, oh, she was talking to me. We didn't even see them. I didn't even see them. He came out of like nowhere, and she was like, oh my gosh, my nail. He was like, hold up. Let me get that for you. I was like, chivalry is not dead, and I was so proud to see that.
It must be just in this, I don't know, maybe I need to, because I'm already upset that people moving to this city and finding their love of their life, and I'm just like,
I know, you said you have a friend that moved here and had a man in 3 weeks and fell in love, and you're like, in my city?
It's a lot of people even on TikTok that be like, I just moved to Houston. I'm like, first of all, why is everybody moving here? Like, a lot of people are wanting to come down south to find love. I don't know why they think coming down south is gonna.
Because they know Houston got that secret sauce. We got great people. We have beautiful people. We got good food.
But people from California keep moving here, and that's why our cost of living is going up. I was telling my friend from Canada.
We got plenty of work. You can either work for somebody else or create your own thing. We just got a lot in Houston. And then also we have so many pockets in Houston where you could literally live out in the suburbs and nobody ever see you. Or you could live downtown and nobody in the suburbs even see you. You can create your own community where Houston is just great. Now, in the same vein, I'll say for anybody who's thinking about moving to Houston, do not. But, but just let you know, we do have it going on here. So that's our show for today, December 18th. And it was all about respecting elders by acts of service. And everything that I listed is also an act of service and volunteerism. And if you know an elderly person that maybe lives in your neighborhood, or you are an elderly person, speak up and let people know how they can help you, or help the next person that might need something, even if it's something as simple as a phone call to say, hi, I just want to know how you were feeling today. But then also extend this over to people who are not elders, who are not ill, who are not really needing anything, but maybe just a voice of, hi, how are you doing, or something like that. Or the other thing I was going to say is when you meet people and they're very, very friendly, like down here in Houston, being in the South, we do a lot of hugging. Sometimes I talk to people and they'll say, oh man, I ain't had a hug in a year. And I'm just like, wow.
A lot of people are skeptical about physical touch too, though.
Well, especially since of what we've gone through, they're really particular about physical touch. But if you know people well enough that you can give them a hug, or even that little, I call it that little half hug where you can at least pat their back or something like that, that's better than nothing. A good old fist bump with a shoulder bump is almost like a hug nowadays,
Yeah.
But that's our show for today, and we're excited that you're listening, and we're excited to see your comments and all of that. And so that's what we have for you today on Respecting Elders.
Yes, and please, please, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also share our page, our channel, that way that people that you might know, whether you work with or related to or friends with, can be either inspired or relate to any of the topics we talk about. And also like and comment on our page as well, so we can talk back with you and exchange experiences and feedback, all kind of good stuff.
Absolutely. And until next time, which will be tomorrow, bye for now.
Bye.